Well, top of the morning to you and welcome to It's a Good Life. As mentioned by Mr. Lally, I'm your host, Brian Buffini. And today we have a very special and unique guest. His name is Darin Dawson. We know each other a long time. And Darin co-founded a company called BombBomb, which is a video software company that helps thousands of professionals build stronger relationships through personal video messaging. And we at Buffini Company partnered with BombBomb years ago because they were doing it so much better than we were. We wanted to bring this service to all our members. Now, in recent years, we've taken it a step further here. And when Darin had a little bit of free time on his hands, he became a consultant to the company. And within the last year, he's become our Chief Growth Officer. A great guy with great insight on building relationships, sales, growing a business, and then some very interesting perspectives on how to use technology to build relationships. And so I've gotten a chance now to see him firsthand. I've known of him for years. We built a relationship for years, and now I've seen him working with the team inside here, building a team inside here. It's been extremely impressive. And he's overseen our most recent innovation, which is our business consultation program, which has absolutely taken fire, and we're going to talk to you all about that today. So very, very excited. Darin Dawson, you know what? I knew I'd be interviewing you one day. I didn't think I'd be interviewing you as part of the Buffini Company.
No kidding. This is a big deal for me. I listen to this podcast all the time. This might be too much information for everyone, but I like to sit in my hot tub very early in the morning and listen to the Good Life podcast as the sun comes up on the mountains here in Colorado. And it's really great to be here, Brian. Thanks for having me.
That's the most Colorado thing I ever heard. That's just right there. That's great. So let's just kind of give people a little bit of the backstory. Tell us a little bit about growing up, Darin Dawson.
You bet. Grew up in southern Michigan. I'm a southern Michigan farm kid. So grew up on a small farm. We raised beef cattle. We had hay to be put in the barn, acre garden to weed. So I learned a work ethic at a very young age. My dad, it was a hobby farm for him. He had a full-time job. Then he'd come home and farm. So I grew up riding the back of a tractor, plowing a field, tending a fence, feeding cows. All that kind of stuff was my growing up. I had an older brother, and it was he and I and mom and dad on that farm. And that's me, Southern Michigan farm kid.
Destined to be a leader of a tech company that transformed
Makes sense,
video.
Makes sense. I know. Look, I was a fortunate person. It was an interesting time to grow up. As us Gen Xers, we kind of figured it out along the way.
Well, one of the things I want to talk about, and I mentioned to you in a private conversation, is there to me is one of the things that our modern culture and modern business people have lost sight of is the joy of sales, the honor of sales. Yeah. You know, nothing right. in this world happens without a sale. Nothing. You can have strategy and innovation, and you can have technology. You can have all these things in the world. But if nothing sells, nothing happens. And even in our industry in real estate right now, I'm listening to all these highfalutin conversations about clear cooperation and private listings and this and the other. And I'm going to speak at Inman in August this year, and here's all the tech bros and gals there sitting there. And my first conversation with them is going to be, nothing happens without a sale. This is all just posturing and distraction, to be candid with you. So, you know, here's a farm boy, obviously had some ambition. How did you get on the path to sales? And the one thing, when you and I talk about business, we always have a smile on our face when we're talking about sales. And I was a sale. You sold me on your company so that we became a customer. We're a customer today. We have thousands and thousands of our clients using the BombBomb service. So talk about sales, how you got into it, and then a little bit about your philosophy on it.
I feel like I grew up with it just because I was watching these old timers hang out with my dad and just talking, telling stories and hanging out with each other. But your word was everything, and trust was the underpinning of everything. And so that fundamental characteristic, I believe, set me up for a good career in sales. I didn't go to college, Brian. I didn't. Well, I did, but I wasn't, as my dad would say, maybe it's just not your thing. But I read everything I could get my hands on in the things I was interested in. Right. And one of them was personal development and in selling. And but that trust underpinning, I think, set me up because we're relational people, and I watched this relational stuff go down. I know you know that because that's how you came up as well. We've talked about this. It's just that ability to have a conversation with a human being and have your word be your bond and do what you say you will do. You could count on me to do that, and that trust and transparency worked really well for me in my sales career. And so as I started getting into, I was interested in online marketing and things like that, but I would sell these things. I worked for a TV station. I ran a advertising company, but I was always leading the charge on business development. But it's that trust and knowing that when you meet me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it if I said I would do it.
Which, by the way, is the key component, I believe, to sales. I've been, myself and Tony Robbins are the two people who've ever sold $1 billion from stage, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And the people say to me, oh, you could sell ice to an Eskimo, right? And I go, that is the furthest thing from the truth you could ever say. The truth is, in order for me to sell something, to promote something, I have to deeply believe in it. Just deeply believe in it. And if I don't believe in it, we've turned down tens of millions of dollars over the years at Buffco with sponsors or people who wanted to partner. We can do this and we can do that. And it was like, okay, that would make us a lot of money. How does it make my customers any money? Very, very cautious about who we put our name to. And so, as you go through these different processes over the years, I think, you talk about that trust. You got to trust that the product is there. You got to trust that the service is there. You got to trust that if someone gives you a chance, you're going to do a great job. And so, and you don't have to be perfect, right? Because you're going to improve over time. You're going to get better over time. It's the effort and the attitude. If a mistake happens, we're going to fix it. But how do your mindset in regards to how growth and sales go together, right? How does Darin Dawson tick, and how? Because people are so caught up right now in the past. I'm waiting for the interest rates to change. I'm waiting for the world events to pass down. All tariffs are in place, or all the different things. And yet next year will be a totally different list. You don't focus on any of that stuff. How do you have this growth mindset, and then approach it with a sales backup?
Your perspective has to be focused on your commitment to yourself and your family, and those things. Those things always are going to be around you. I've been through not as many markets as you have, but I've been through several crazy downturns in the tech sector. Had the Great Resignation, went through COVID, started a business in that great recession in real estate, and we had chosen real estate people to sell it to. It was not a great time to start that business. But if our perspective is, for us, it was how do we rehumanize the planet? How do we make things better for the folks that we serve? How do we refine the product and solve problems for folks that are using it? That's the singular focus. And then for me, one of the questions I ask every salesperson that I interview, what are you reading? Mm-hmm. If you're not into the craft, I'm not interested.
Right.
I'm just not.
Right.
Because that's how, as I explained to you, I drive around. I've told you this, drive around in my car, listen to Brian Tracy on tape.
Yeah.
To invest in myself. I want to be the best I possibly could be. And I think that's what's required, right? It's because all this stuff is going to be swirling around us. If it's not interest rates, it's going to be AI. If it's not AI, it's going to be some legal thing, tariffs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Happens all the time. It's been happening. It won't ever stop. But what's your mindset? How do you own your mindset every morning? Nice. I have a routine every morning. I read every morning. I meditate, pray every morning. I work out most every morning. I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
But to me, that's what's gotten me here, and I'm not giving up yet.
That's beautiful. And that's part of it. And look, it's a common characteristic. We've had 320 episodes of this podcast, and it's always about, self-development. The things you learned in college weren't enough to do much with you unless you're a technical person. It's all that self-education and self-development. It's why I do this. It's why Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Og Mandino, Brian Tracy, all of those people are their pictures hanging up outside this wall, as you well know, because those are the people who made me. So let's just talk for those who don't know. You built BombBomb as a way for your clients to connect more personally in a digital world. And your mission was to rehumanize the planet. And I thought, great dynamic. Talk to people about because I'm always about find a need, fill a need. What was the need you were finding, and how did you fill it with BombBomb?
So the reason we started that business is because we were super into making an impact in the world. We still are.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to do is, look, I'm very passionate about a lot of things, but some of them are the marginalized folks in our world. We have more slavery and more human trafficking and more homelessness and more hunger and poverty and people without clean water than we ever had. So we built this business to be a vehicle to serve those people. So we wanted to rehumanize the planet using the resources, the people, and everything to help our mission. And oh, by the way, it also helped your business to be rehumanized by creating a personal impression, right? So that was the genesis of the concept. So we were very aligned to what we wanted to do with the treasure and proceeds of that company to drive the impact we wanted to have in the world.
And the other dynamic there is, which is great, so you had a philanthropic goal, you had a goal to do more things. And then at the same time, BombBomb Video was a design like we're doing today. Like I can do this as a radio interview, but when we're doing it face-to-face, the reason we always do our interviews face-to-face like this is it communicates so much more. Video communicates so much more than audio. And so you can listen to this. Most people are going to listen to this podcast on audio, but they can also check it out, and there's clips on YouTube and whatever else. And so much more is communicated. I think the other dynamic that BombBomb has helped our customers do is break our members out of their isolation and help break some of their clients out of their isolation. And so it's a great way to reach out. It's a great way to connect. And it's just a way to, send video messages that someone gets a little clip and it might just brighten their day, fire them up and keep them going. You have a philosophy I've always heard, you're better in person. And, you're in the business development role with Buffini Company. You've got all these departments that report to you. You're chief growth officer. How does your better in person work out on a regular basis for Darin Dawson?
At the end of the day, I'm a sales guy. I'm a sales and marketing guy. And I know that the whole purpose of sending emails, text messages, phone calls is ultimately I want to be face-to-face with folks. That's what it was back in 2006 when we came up with the idea for this. And it's the same thing. I think for me, I know I build a better connection. Human beings do. We talked about the video. I kind of talk with my hands. Did you know that just showing your hands creates a level of trust? That can't be done in any other way. You can't do that in social media. Seeing us communicate, seeing my hands, it's kind of our lizard brain back in the back here knows, well, he doesn't have a weapon. He's not trying to kill me, right? So our facial characteristics, our nonverbal communication is about 1,000 times more impacting than what you're hearing. So your brain's picking up exactly what I'm talking about. These things cannot be done unless we're looking at another person. And it's uniquely human. Now, your dog might be able to pick up some of these things, but human beings, we have intrinsic value. We are created to be in community with each other and to create a feedback loop that's constant. I trust you or I don't. I like you or I don't. And it's very quick. These micro expressions, these things that we throw off, all communicate these things. And that's how we become great salespeople. But it's more how we become great partners to our wives or husbands and great dads to our kids and great friends to the people around us. So these are not just about sales, but if you're in that career field, it is everything, in my opinion.
Well, and I there's two sides to this, on the positive side and then the mitigation of the negative. So I found, especially in our world today, people will put things on social media and there's no accountability for it, right?
Correct.
Don't put smack in the chat, right? That's the thing. And people just fire off missives that there is no way in God's green earth those people would have the chops to do face-to-face. And I'll tell a little story where I had a client that, and this is tell you back in the day, I was speaking at a men's retreat, and I was up in the mountains, I had no cell phone service. And so this client of mine, my assistant, got this virus that put her in the emergency room. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's no communication coming in and out to me. And I have a client who has a problem, who then becomes a bigger problem. It becomes an enormous problem, and he's not hearing from me. And he, what's wild is he was raised in apartheid South Africa, and he was not a white man. He was not a black man. He was considered a colored man in the apartheid system. And now he feels like this is all the reason you're not calling me back. And I've heard all these great things about you, and I was referred. You're obviously this. So I come home from the men's retreat, literally off the mountaintop, and I come back, and of course I got a bunch of messages. But then I get this series of messages from this guy, and each one is getting progressively worse and worse. And I just called him, and he was pissed. And I said, listen, I'm on my way. It was Sunday night. I said, I'm on my way. He lived 50 minutes away from me. And I get there 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. And like he still needed to be heard out, and he needed to get off his chest. I didn't make excuses. I didn't get into the no service phone assistant in the hospital. He found out those things later. I just said, I'm sorry. You're important to me. And, the transaction I was representing him on was actually the cheapest house I ever sold. So he thought, I'm broke. I'm not your big hotshot client. I'm this guy from South Africa. And I just came to him. The next day I sent him a big Irish basket, because he told me he liked Irish foods, because that came up at the end of our conversation once he was ready not to kill me. He gets a big Irish basket. I follow up a couple of days later. My assistant calls, oh, so sorry, I was sick and, I was in hospital. Oh, my gosh. We didn't want to make him feel bad. He just kind of found out the circumstances. That guy became the person who referred me to my biggest client ever, who was the president of a bank, who gave me all of their foreclosures for the next 5 years. Wow. But so face-to-face mitigates the problem, right? Because people, they'll say things in social that they won't say in person. They'll say things on an email that can be misconstrued. They'll say things in text. I have a lot of kids, they're all their kids' friends are over, and they have these disputes or issues. My mom and dad, my dad sent this to me. And then they respond back.
What does it mean?
What does that mean? They're interpreting a text. I get on the phone and call your dad.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And then when in person, go in person. So it mitigates a problem. But the other part is it really allows you to read a person and connect with a person, and then ultimately serve a person, right? Because you need to know them. So even though here's Darin Dawson, the king of the BombBomb video, who used a digital process to try to connect with people, the goal was to get face-to-face. And then the last thing I want to say about that is I have tens of thousands of customers, and I have hundreds. I got 500,000 people on our email, people who've done business with us, all, not just an email list, but people who've done business with us over the years. I only have so many hours in my day. So I have to prioritize who I am going to see. And I have to prioritize where I spend my time. And then the next layer of my team, who are you going to spend your time with? Talk a little bit about that dynamic, because obviously the face-to-face is the key. How do you make the judicious decision of who you spend your time with?
That's a great question. I think, to me, I'm always trying to prioritize what's the hottest thing to do. I'm an old school. I got this book in front of me right now, and every day I write down the 6 things I need to get done today, and I try to prioritize that. And sometimes that changes, but I think I try also to think about who can make the greatest impact for me in that moment. Sometimes I have to delegate that to someone, another leader, to take that on for me. And my personality is to own it. But the way to lead is to give it.
Yeah.
And even if it's not done the way you want it,
to
go back to them and say, you know what, next time maybe like this.
Coach
but you'll never grow and scale as a person, as a leader for sure, if you're not able to trust that delegation. Now, trust, again, here we go, is the underpinning of all of those things. But if I've done my job well, I can trust that person's going to deliver for me. So I'm always delegating, trying to delegate, but I have my 6 top things that I must perform today. And sometimes that's a delegation tactic. I need to delegate something to someone else.
So how many total clients has BombBomb generated over the years to use video?
I mean, we're over 100,000 users in 48 countries.
That's great. What's the one video tip you would give an entrepreneur for their business? What's the one best thing you would advise?
I think it's just a communication tip more than the video tip. It's if it's better said face to face, send a video. So before you send a text, not everything has to be a video.
Yeah.
But if it'd be better said face to face, and you can't be face to face, you can't be in person, send a video. And I think sometimes we worry about, it can't be more than a minute, no one's going to watch it. If the content is important enough, they will watch it.
Yeah.
Because you can deliver an hour's worth of text in a quick 2-minute video.
Right.
Does that make sense? Because the communication is 10 times the amount, because they see you, hear you, see your face, see those micro expressions. The communication effect is 10x anything you're going to do ever on an email, a text, even a phone call. I always ask them, do you think you're better on a text email or in person?
Yeah.
If you're in sales, you answer in person. Then I say, do you think you're better on the phone or in person. Again, now some people might want to say, well, I am only on text. But if you're in sales or if you're in the people business, you're better in person. So if you can't be in person, send a video.
That's great. That's great. And you've done a lot of remodeling around Buffini Company and upgraded our all of our what they're called SaaS products, whether it's our Back At You social media, the redefinition of our products and programs. And recently you've quarterbacked with Michael Thorne, our AI program, which just launched 2 weeks ago. Absolutely amazing. Give us a couple of, because you're on the front end of video years before anybody. I mean, 2006 was early into the video business.
Yeah. Before the phone had a camera in it, we were talking about you should be doing video, and they're like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
So now you were very instrumental in over the last year. Obviously AI is everywhere. Almost everybody we see has got an app, right? Because those are easy to do and quick to do. We kind of went the hard route and built a training program. Talk a little bit about where you see the role of AI and what the future is for that in small business.
I'm so excited about it. I think that there's just so much fear here for every business and for everyone. And it makes us afraid for our kids. And look, I wanted to come alongside folks. We wanted to come alongside folks and say, how can we help? And get from fearful to confident. Because here's the deal. This is the future. It's not replacing you. The people that will win with AI will use it to enhance their ability to connect with people. Give them more time for those human connections. Give it the repetitive tasks. Give it the things that you're always doing. It will make you more efficient. The people that will lose with this are the people that try and put it between them. If you're going to create an automation and have AI call all your contacts in one fell swoop and expect that that's going to be better than you simply building those human connections, I think you're going to lose. I know a lot of people might disagree with us on this topic. I'd just rather be on the human side of this. And empower people.
Here's the thing. That's the hill I'm willing to die on. You know
100%.
what I mean? And it's always, you know, I'm in the business 40 years. Oh, the website, people are going to click through a virtual listing, click add this to my shopping cart, and they're going to send you a commission. I mean, that's how it was sold, and it was always BS, you know. And it's been thrilling to watch this program. I mean, here's the bottom line, you know, with Michael is when I interviewed Michael on our episode a couple of weeks ago, he said, here's the stats and here's the research, and it's like, what takes somebody else 5 hours, I can get done in an hour, and the quality is 40% better. And so if you can, I mean, what I love about this is, and this technology, it can make a small business big, and it can make a small business big without the big challenge. The biggest threat to small business is fixed expense. And when you get more people, you typically have had to have more buildings. And in obviously in modern world, more people work from home. That in itself brings another set of challenges. So the functional, perfunctory work that's repetitive, it can be done in excellence. The research side is amazing. The writing is improving by the second. And so we, rather than do an app, we built a training program. And I just started watching the first module actually last night, and I'm like,
fantastic.
For the least tech savvy guy in the building, I'm feeling, you know what I'm getting is a little confidence about what can be done, and I'm starting to see the opportunities myself. So if you guys don't know about the Buffini Company's AI program, go to buffinicompany.com. It's going to blow you away, and Michael is a great teacher. He's a practitioner, and he understands it. The latest thing is something that, you know, I have been wanting to do a version of this, and we've done versions of this for years, which is this business consultation.
Yep.
And candidly, over time, the business consultations drifted into kind of a low-level sales call, to be honest with you. And I just said, look, if we are going to have our best clients, because we're known, we're the gold standard, as you well know, for 30 years in coaching. We were on the front end of coaching. When 30 years ago, and I said, you need a business coach, people go, what? That's like you telling people to use video when there was no camera. And people are like, what is a business coach? What is that? I mean, is that like a therapist for your business? I mean, people had no clue. And so we were on the forefront, and we've been the gold standard. We have a great name. And we wanted to create a dynamic where people could experience the power of coaching and then just have an experience in and of itself as a standalone. So if one of our best clients referred a friend of theirs to us, we could offer this business consultation and it wouldn't be a timeshare presentation where you got the free VCR, right?
And you can't leave. You can't leave
it. It would be 30 minutes of an investment somebody would make in their business that in and of itself could transform a person's business. And then if they loved it enough, they'd say, hey, I want to talk to Buffini Company about more of the things you do. Great. And if not, and they went away, they'd had a phenomenal experience. And so you've really been on the forefront of this, which is interesting because we've invested millions into all our technologies at Buffini Company. But you also then came along and said, hey, this is a way for us to be better in person and build out the relationship. So talk, if you would, please, because there's people listening today who are our clients. We'd love them to refer people to get one of these business consultations. And there's people who are not with us right now. Their business might not be all where they want it to be. And this podcast itself can provide value. So let's talk about the 4 things we do for somebody in these business consultations.
Absolutely. I just want to say, too, this came from this idea, and this is a personal core value of mine, and it's a core value that you and I share, which is be of value and abundance will follow. The whole idea here is that if you come, hang out, you're going to get something from it. It doesn't have to be about us. It doesn't have to be about a sale. It has to be about impacting and improving the lives and livelihoods of people. That's what it's about. That's our core value at Buffini Company. And that's what this is about. So there is 4 core tenets that we're asking when you show up or what you'll get. And one is, can we get clear on your vision? What are you trying to do in your business? What are the things that you're saying that I want to accomplish? What's your business plan? Do you have one? Many of you folks don't. I think I've worked with real estate agents for a long time, and I might have had a clear vision in the past, but it gets foggy. And a lot of times we're working by ourselves. You're by yourself. You might have your broker. You might be in a team, but often you're not. And so it gets hard. You're with the family a lot, and you're getting your own head, and that sometimes is a really scary place you can be, right?
Hey, look, I mean, this is what I'm helping our leadership team with right now.
Absolutely.
You get busy, you get whatever else, and I'm like, hey, time out.
Yeah, remember this? Remember these core values?
Here's the core values. Here's what we're trying to get accomplished. How about, we have this project and this project and this project. How about we remove some of these things, get real focused on what we do best. So it happens to everybody, right? My dad used to come home sometimes, and my mom would say, we need to paint the house, So the painter needs to paint his own house.
That's right.
So I just think getting clear on your vision. What I can say this is, as a company who's in the midst of doing this, it brings efficiency, it brings effectiveness, and it brings everybody together. And I just think, my old friend Joe Neagle used to say most agents aim for nothing and hit it with amazing accuracy. So
great.
That's great. Get clear on the vision. What else are they going to get?
Second one, uncover what's holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has something that might be holding you back. It might be your morning routine, something simple that we can help with. It might be your value proposition. Do you have one? Can you articulate it well? There's a lot of things that can hold entrepreneurs back. And you're an entrepreneur if you're listening to this call. So what's the obstacle? Could be family. Could be a life event. There's a lot of things that need to be worked through, right? So that's the next step, is what's holding you back. Let's identify that and let's talk about it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's personal and sometimes it's professional. But I know this. Everyone on the PGA Tour has a coach because none of us can see our swing.
That's right.
I'm there right now, and I just went to see my coach Rick, and you've seen I have the simulator at home, so I can even see where the path of the club is and what the mistake is. I just don't know how to correct it. And he came over the other day, and in a half hour, he had because I can't see my own swing, and he's shown me. So we need to uncover what's holding us back. What's the next principle?
Third one. See what's working for others like you. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. The folks doing these business consultations, and by the way, our coaches, they just get more reps and talk to more people in this industry than you do. Right. That's the thing, right? So there's a great video out there. I bet you've seen it. Kobe Bryant talking about how he showed up early, taking all the shots. That's it. I mean, we just get more reps. And if you get more reps, we can help more people quicker. So we've heard almost everything under the sun. You have definitely heard everything out there, right? So we know, we can talk about it. We can share other stories. You can say, oh, that person, I thought I was the only one. Isn't that true? We always think that. We always think we're the only one that's going through this instance, when it turns out that's been going on for years and other people have had that problem and we've helped them through it. So sometimes it's just unlocking what other people have gone through and how they've gotten through it.
Yeah, well, and it also gives people hope. We're stuck.
Absolutely.
Can't see it. And it's like, hey, here's what somebody in your specific area is. We've done it sometimes where here's someone down the hall in your office is doing. And they're like, really?
Exactly.
In your market
go talk
at this
to
time.
them.
And they're killing it. And here's what they're doing. 1, 2, 3. And so it just gives people that freedom, that hope. Okay, other people are winning right now. Okay, yeah, the political scene is whatever it is. The worldwide scene is what it is. The interest rates are whatever the scene is. The economy is whatever the scene is. But here's people in your area, in your specific specialty, blowing it up and killing it right now. And it gets down to the old, if they can do it, I can do it. Give us the last step here. I've always had 3 points, but there needed to be 4 points. They really
one more,
did.
Yes. Discover your next steps. That's the last one. Here's the deal. Sometimes that's going to be a tactic that you need to implement. Sometimes it's going to be training that you need to go take. And sometimes it's going to be you deciding that you need a partner to come alongside you and go through this thing so you're not alone. I've been at this a long time, and in every business, worked in a lot of different businesses, but a consistency is a human problem.
Yeah.
It's a human problem. It's not just a real estate problem, not just a lender problem, not just it's a human problem, right? So we often need a coach, someone to come alongside us to hold us accountable to the outcomes that we said we want in our own lives.
Right.
Back to that vision. What's my personal vision? How do I achieve it without someone to come alongside me? Remember when you said you want to be this kind of dad and this kind of business leader? How you doing? If they're not checking in with me, I don't win.
Yeah, we got to take the self out of self-employed. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's right.
You get someone on the journey with you, it helps you. The problem's cut in half and the joy is doubled when you succeed. And having next steps. And so I'm just real excited about this because it's in and of itself, we're able to bless people with 30 minutes of probably the best 30 minutes they'll have spent in their business this year. They'll clarify their vision. They'll uncover what's holding them back. They'll see what's working for other people. And they'll have some next steps. And we believe that doing good means you do good. And we're going to do this good thing, and we're going to provide this. And we believe that if we do this with enough people over time, some of those people today, tomorrow, 3 years from now, are going to, when they're ready for a little help and whatever else, are going to reach out to Buffco. So we're delighted about this. If you are interested in getting those 4 things for your business, I'm going to encourage you to go to itsagoodlife.com. So itsagoodlife, all one word, .com/BC. And the BC is for business consultation. So itsagoodlife.com/BC. It's a beautiful gift. It's a win-win thing for us. It's a win-win thing for you. And I'm really excited. And Darin, you and your team have done a masterful job bringing this. It's really, for me as the referral guy, it's a real joy to have something that's this referable. And so for our members that have been with us for years, they can now, hey, you're struggling, you're not where you want to be. Here's something that's cool for my friend. And they know that the Buffini name's behind it, and we're going to honor those people and give them a great experience. And we just believe if we do enough of that, eventually things are going to be fine for us too. So it's a total win-win scenario. As we finish up here, Darin, I always have these rapid-fire questions I ask everybody and all the potentates. So here it is. Number 1 for Darin Dawson. What's the single best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I can see my father saying it when I might be 5-ish. Do what you say you will do. It's the best advice.
What was your dad's name?
For me,
Dwayne Dawson.
We're all double D's. My brother's David. My son is Davin. The original double D, Brian, was Darling.
Wow.
Any guesses where he might have been from?
Wow.
Your neck of the woods. Wow. Darling Dawson. Yeah, we're all.
He was an Irishman, huh? That's great.
He was.
You'd have to be an Irishman. That's like a boy named Sue. You'd have to be an Irishman to be a name Darling. I would say he was a farmer.
That's
all right. How great is that? What's the one talent or gift you wish you possessed that you currently don't?
So I don't know if I'll ever achieve this. My brother can play by ear the piano. He's very musically talented. My grandfather played the violin. I'm not. I want it, but I'm not there. But music would be the thing.
Got to pay the price. Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
What book has been most instrumental in your life?
This has changed for me over the years. I don't know if you have this at all, but as you get older, you reflect back on what had the most impact. If you ask me in my 20s, it'd be Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and then maybe John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership in my 30s and 40s. But now, as I get older and I look back, I've read this book maybe 4 times now. It's Charles Stanley's The Spirit-Filled Life. It makes me a better dad, makes me a better husband, makes me a better leader. all those things. I love. I'm an avid reader, but that one, as I look back, I read that every year.
Love me some Charles Stanley. That's great.
Yeah, love me some Charles Stanley.
What's the one movie you watch over and over again whenever it's on? You always stop.
You and I have talked about this. I'm a massive World War II
Yeah.
history guy. So it's a series. It's the Band of Brothers series based on the book by Stephen Ambrose. It's the last video and the last part of the series, the very last episode, where the old men are just talking about their time at the war. Yep, I love it. I watch it every 4th of July just to remember. I just kick it back on Memorial Day. That's what I'm doing.
And I got a chance to tell you the story in the Adams Mark Hotel in Houston, Texas.
So good.
That's where all that
jealous.
was filmed, and I was there for a 3-day seminar. And I met these guys in the elevator. I started busting their chop about Patton, and they loved
so
the
Brian
Irish.
gets to meet all these guys,
Yep.
and I'm just like, this
Yep.
is who I want to be, is one of these men.
Yeah, well, I got a chance to spend every evening with them, and I got to buy them a beer every night.
It's fantastic.
And then I had no idea what Band of Brothers would be. So every time I see that program, and I see Babe Heffernan, and I see Garnier, and all those guys that I had beers with and bought beers for, just for the record, I never let those guys put their hand in a pocket. And it brings a little tear to my eye. Last but not least, Darin Dawson, what's a good life mean to you?
Yeah, living out my calling to serve my family, my friends, and my leaders, my business leaders, and being the best dad, best husband I can possibly be.
Good stuff. Well, as you can tell, I was planning on interviewing Darin Dawson a long time ago, and never did I think at the time Darin would be helping us here as one of the core executives at Buffini Company. He's done a great job with BombBomb, and he's left that in great place, and he sees what we're doing, and it's an honor to have you, Darin. I think these are great insights, and I think, from the principles of, your dad putting your name to what you do is similar to mine, and
that's right.
Trust and building relationships, and we're better in person. I believe that in 1986. I believe that in 2026. And so.
And I'm pretty sure we're both going to believe it in 2066.
Yeah, right. Lord willing. No doubt. And all this tech and all that stuff, it helps a person. It connects a person. It builds a relationship. And now we're very thankful. And again, once again, if you want one of those business consultations, go to itsagoodlife.com/BC. It's going to blow you away. And it'll be the best 30 minutes you spent in your business this year. So we're fired up about it. Thanks for joining me today, Darin. And in the spirit of the great Therese Buffini, I'll finish off today's call with our little Irish blessing. May the roads rise up to meet you, and may the wind always be at your back. May the rain fall soft upon your fields, and the sunshine warm upon your face. And until we meet again, may God hold us all in the hollow of his hand. We'll see you next time.